Hello there, you beautiful people. My name is Willow, and welcome back to Supreme Commander Forged Alliance Forever, where today we're going to be doing a Megacast. We have count them, three games to cast today, so I'm super excited to get into it. And why do we have 3 games to cast, you may be asking? Well, very recently, the Team Matchmaker has gone into a open beta state, meaning anybody who wants to go and download the Team Matchmaker can play with the Team Matchmaking on Forged Alliance Forever. Well, I've gotten a few replays from that, and I'm deciding to cast the best ones that I got. So, without a further ado, we are going to get into casting this, but I do want to say thank you to my patron, Timothy Calderwood. He is an awesome dude, subscribed over at on my Patreon for $10 a month. And if you want your name said in every video, you can do the same. And if not, that's awesome too. Either way, let's go ahead and get into introducing our players. And I am going to be going over the ratings and how well balanced the games were. And this is not to criticize, but just to observe on the way the Team Matchmaker works right now. I believe you can queue with friends. So yeah, there's that. Over here, we have our first player. He is a Blue Cybran, who is a 16, almost 1700 rated player by the name of Herzer99, and he is going first land. His ally over to the east is Banana Whale, or as his name is here, Disaster spelled like a child. Either way, it is Banana Whale. Sorry, man, I'm just giving you shit. Banana Whale's a part of the Discord community, and I just think the fact that he spelled his name like this is kind of funny. Either way, he's a Gray Seraphim going first land, and he is rated somewhere between 7 and 800, 767. And then we can go down here and check on the ratings of the players and the players in Team 2, starting with a Yellow Cybran by the name of Arma. 473, who is a 1200 rated player going first land, and his ally, a red player by the name of Nylent Soob, or Silent Noob, and he is a red UEF going first land, and he is a 1600 rated player, 1652, as you can see up here in the top right hand corner. The game quality is 85%, which does not mean it's particularly balanced. If you hover over it here, 90% plus, good. 90% below, bad, or below 90%. So, yeah, the Matchmaker not doing super hot, though I will mention that there is a Mech Marine over here that just caught my eye. A Mech Marine over here going to be doing some harass, and if you look at the mini-map over here, we can see that there is a Hunter, I believe, or that may be a Mantis over here out from Arma 473, so you can see these players, a little bit of coordination going on. They may be on Discord together, or maybe they just have a similar opener. You have no idea. I believe you can queue for the Team Matchmaker with another player, and that will allow you to play pre-made teams. Basically, you are always going to be on the same team with your ally. It makes sense. You've played games with Team Matchmaking before. You've played something, and I'm sure you get it. But yes, indeed. We do have the Hunter Wars going on over here, and it does look like the Hunter out from Herzer99 is going to win. I believe the reason it won there, if I'm entirely... I think I'm correct on this. The other Hunter was running this way, as you saw, and this one was right behind it. So the other one had to turn its turret all the way around to fire, and that gave the first Hunter enough time to get more damage done. If that makes sense. The Mech Marine has been killed. I don't believe it got any engineer kills. No, it did not manage an engineer kill. It did... Did it damage an engineer? Yeah, it did damage an engineer. I did hear it firing a little bit earlier. This poor little guy, he got shot up by a Mech Marine. He's scarred for life. He's a very scared individual. And with the early harassment done, we can go ahead and check on reclaim numbers, which for some reason it started the game on reclaim. Either way, the reclaim numbers, we can see the only player with any significant reclaim is Herzer99, sitting nearly at 1,000. He's just about 200 off from 1,000. Let's go ahead and check on the total ecos. Herzer is sitting somewhere around 19 mass a second and 17 mass a second for Disaster. Nylent Soob, or Silent Noob, whichever one you want, is at 21 and 25 for Arma 473. So this is basically a result of the expansion times. We can see that Team 2 has managed to expand to their mass extractors much quicker than their opponents and are getting the benefits of having more mass extractors earlier. So they do have a slight eco advantage at the moment. Overall, since there is more reclaim for Team 2, the difference is not massive, but it will grow if the Team 1 players have not managed to... Wow, 2 engineers dying to that UEF Scorcher bomber. Those little incendiary bombs killing off many engineers in their lifetime. Today they're only going to get 2, though. By lifetime, I meant like the lifetime of FA. Scorchers have killed a lot of T1 engineers. All T1 bombers have killed a lot of T1 engineers. Oh, man. All right. So we do have some air things going on, finally. Players getting up their air forces near factories. Of course, seeing bombers, another bomber out from Banana Whale, not quite going around doing anything. And we can see over here, 2 engineers going to be going down to a striker. And that is actually huge news. Normally, that'd be like, oh well. But right now, he only has 3 factories that are completed. And this factory was going to be completed next. But with those engineers going down, it's not going to be completed for a nice little while. And if we look down here, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4 completed factories. Make that 5 and a 6th on the way and a 7th queued. That's going to give a huge production advantage over to Nylent Sub. It doesn't matter if you get all of your mass extractors. If you don't have the factories to produce the units to kill your enemy, then having mass is completely useless. Not that Disaster is ahead on mass either, but just very unfortunate to see that expansion engineer being killed. And he's producing tanks here instead of engineers to get the rest of this expansion up and running, so that is also quite painful. He does now finally have engineers out on the way to try and rectify this expansion, try and get up more and more factories with which he can hopefully hold against his opponent. Of course, as I was mentioning about the balance of this game, it is, of course, Banana Whale sitting over here at 767 rating points, and his direct mirror matchup is going to end up being Nylent Sub, who is a 1600 rated player. And over here we can see a factory that's been cliff built over here onto the left cliff, and that is going to produce issues for Herzer, actually, because this factory is not going to survive. It does look like... Is that repairing? No, that's idle. So this factory is going to go down, and now it's getting repairs from the comm, but even then, you get out this hunter, what does it do? I mean, it might kill off these, but you can just make a mantis, and he has made a mantis, and that issue is gone, and there goes the factory. The factory has gone down, and that's a lost cause for Herzer. He's not going to be able to grab control of that using a cliff build. Maybe with this transport that he's got out, and it does look like he's loading it up with Mantis, he might be able to grab the cliff. Meanwhile, over here, we do have the comms of Nylent Sub and Disaster fighting it out over here. 7,000 HP between the two of them. They both have 7,000 HP, and they're both kind of even for the moment, but I do believe there's definitely feels like there's more units over here for Nylent Sub. So that could be a real issue. I would like to see Disaster possibly getting up a few more... Wait, is he stalling mass? He's not quite stalling mass yet. I would like to see him just kind of not build any more factories. I don't think he can afford anymore. Maybe get up... Just focus on getting up some units, maybe getting an upgrade on the comm. Gun would be very good right now. And we can see that those units that were dropped up here, of course, do kill everything off. It does look like he got multiple transports worth of units over here, and it looks like possibly another transport coming out for some harass. Yep, yes indeed. That transport's going to be going across the map. It's going to be causing issues for these boys down south. We'll have to see if a country boy will survive. I don't know why I chose this accent for just now, but I did. And we can see a lot of T2 mexes coming out from Arma 473. He is going to have a lot of mass right now. He is definitely probably... I think he's leading on the eco front. He is power stalling currently, so maybe not quite. But at the same time, that is a ton of mass output compared to his... Actually, maybe not, because Herzer is also doing quite well on mass. Yeah, maybe this isn't an odd timing for a bunch of T2 mexes. It just seems like he got his very early compared to everybody else. We do have... Is this the same tank? No, 2 more tanks slipping by the defenses of Team 1. These tanks just keep on getting by one way or another. They managed to kill off 2 mass extractors, which is, that's just painful. I mean, it's not a ton of mass per second, but it's just like that moral victory. A bomber over here trying to kill off these tanks, but is not being exceptionally productive in that state. But there are 2 mantis over here. There are some engineers, a factory. I do believe that this is just going to end up causing Team 1 to kill off these tanks. The first bomber kills off, or the bomber kills off the first tank. The second tank's going to be shot down by some mantis, and that is the end of those strikers' career. But now there's 3 dead mexes, and he needs to get engineers out right now. He does have engineers queued up to go get those, which is good, or at least a single engineer. So he's going to get those mass extractors again, but painful to be losing those over and over. And do we have anything special done? Herzer finishing oof, which I think is gun? Is that gun? I don't know. Why do people rename these things? It's gun upgrade. He got oof. Oof. Gonna make enemies do the big oof. Or maybe he's talking about whenever he gets gun upgrade and manages just to walk into the enemy. And here we can see the passive toggle for the Selin being used very effectively. A Selin just sitting out here scouting the entirety of the army for Nylent Sub. He's getting so much intel. I mean, of course, that army's there. Now you have to figure out what the hell you want to do about it. But still, stealth now on the way for Herzer. Bite, nya. T2 finishing up on the comm of Nylent Sub. And we can see these units in the middle starting to push. That PD that was there previously is no longer there to help defend this. We're having units both from Disaster and Herzer coming over to form a defensive grid against this onslaught out from Nylent Sub. It does indeed look like it's going to be driven off for now, but that does leave this flank a little bit unattended for the moment. We can see that T2 has been achieved in the land section for Herzer. He's managed to get a T2 land HQ up, and that is going to possibly cause some issues. We do have a Deceiver on the field, and that's going to make it very difficult, along with some hoplites and a Banger Flak. So that is going to be a relatively formidable force. I don't believe anybody else is quite at T2 yet. We do have T2 air out for Nylent Sub, but on the ground I'm not seeing T2 for anybody. Never mind, I'm a liar. There is T2 out for Arma now. It does look like Team 2 has decided to stay with the motif of spam out a lot of army, keep up a lot of pressure, and try and fight for the middle of the map, and that is what they're doing. They've kind of drawn a line of map control about right here where my mouse is going back and forth, where I've been doing that for like way too long. Either way, units now consolidating on either flank. There are still a lot of units out for Disaster over on this eastern, or over in this middle area, but he also has some on the eastern flank. These units seemingly trying to group up with each other, but this terrain is causing them to drive really slow, and yeah, these units are just going to be slaughtered. They have walked into their own demise. And that is a very unfortunate situation. We have stealth on the way for the comm of Arma. We did, of course, see stealth and gun finish up for Herzer. We have T2 over here, and we do have a tactical missile launcher out. Has it fired yet? I do not believe it has. It has 4 kills, so it has to have fired. And it's firing over into the base of Herzer. He's deciding to target the stronger enemy player, get rid of T2 mexes, cause mass economic damage for Herzer, who is now power stalling and has not that much mass to go around. Maybe he also managed to get off maybe like a T2 power building over here for him, but that's a very painful situation to be in. He doesn't have any T2 units over here, or T2 engineers, I should say, to build up himself a TMD. And now there are units in the middle coming out from Nylent Sub to try and absolutely destroy what's left of the economy. We do have a Zapper tactical missile defense out from Herzer, and that is going to cause tons of issues for this tactical missile launcher. But then again, the tactical missile launcher is now dead. We didn't check how many kills it had beforehand, but it definitely got a whole bunch of T2 mexes for its trouble, causing significant damage to Team 2. But now we're seeing a little bit of a breakthrough down here on the southern flank, southeastern flank. We are seeing a bunch of units from Disaster managing to make their way out from the containment and possibly get some damage done. He could see if he could target down some of these T2 mass extractors or kill off some of this production. I don't know if he'll have enough units to do it, but he, at the very least, is putting pressure onto Nylent Sub, as Nylent Sub does the same over here in the middle, constantly forcing units to be dragged over. We do have a T2 PD on the way and a nice little mass field starting to form right over here. And of course you have a mass field pretty much everywhere on this eastern flank. We just need more engineers to come out here and start reclaiming it. We do have some engineers out reclaiming on this side. On the western flank, it does look like Arma has managed to get pushed back a little bit as Janus fly over, dropping their explosive payload all over. These Mantis, just mass damage everywhere. Death and destruction, fire. Oh, it's so painful to watch. We can see the two upgraded gun comms going at it, trying to just absolutely maul each other to death with those plasma cannons. So much of a war being fought over here. The destruction is palpable. Meanwhile, over here, we do have these T1 units out from Nylent Sub also causing issues, and they're managing to get around the flank of Herzer, who is currently caught out at half health with very, very little in the way of units. He still has a Rhino, a couple of Rhinos knocking around, which are going to help him immensely. They can help deal with all of this spam very easily, but Herzer needs to get himself out of here before major issues starts to major issues start to crop up from his overextension. And with that, we are going into a little bit of a lull, I believe. We don't have any major pushes. Almost all of the players in the game losing their massive T1 armies and transitioning over to T2 armies, so there's not as many units on the field to just throw at your enemy, of course, because those T2 units do take longer to build. And as we check on the cliffs, we can see that the cliffs on... Oh, this cliff is getting a T2 factory. That could be very annoying, as you could get up some artillery up on this little cliff here and just start raining hell down onto this production facility. And on this flank, we do have this area, this cliff is securely held by Nylent Sub. He is, I know it's Silent Noob, but I like Nylent Sub. It's fun to say. What can I say? Soylent! It's Soylent. Don't eat the Soylent Green. Is that what it is? Oh man, I haven't seen that movie in forever. I'm gonna get yelled at in the comments for not knowing a quote. Oh no, he didn't know the quote from a favorite movie. We do have T2 units out on the field over here for Nylent Sub. Having both T2 air and T2 land is very powerful. Some mongoose and the occasional pillar thrown about. We do have a lot of T1 units over here. I don't know if it's quite enough to kill off these tanks, but he might pick off this emplacement over here, which would be, or this mass extractor, which would be a moral victory more than anything. Of course, if he kills off the extractor, then that's just, it's actually a net loss because he's leaving all of this reclaim right here for his opponent. That attack was, from a tactical standpoint, bad. Economic standpoint, bad. But I am happy to see them attacking. I like to see players that don't just sit back and never take a fight because it might go disadvantageous. It's way better to throw shit at the wall and lose because of it than to sit back and lose because he didn't do anything. At the very least, when you're throwing shit at the wall, you feel like something's happening. We do have a little bit of a resurgent of the yellow menace. At least that's what Herzer is thinking. Over here on this western flank, Arma is doing quite well for himself, pushing out with these rhinos. He's managed to regain some territory that he lost earlier to that gun comm. And no, we're not getting artillery built, but we are... Oh, well, we are going to eventually have artillery built. But we are immediately getting some Viper missile launchers out on this cliff. And that is going to be very annoying to deal with. Because, of course, Vipers, being Cybran, have that little nice added benefit of you break their missile and it turns into 3 more. Kind of like a Hydra of the days of old. I say as if Hydras actually existed. Over here on this eastern flank, we can see Nylant Sub with a gun comm pushing forward. He has a nice clip of kills on this comm. 44 kills, but only 1 veterancy. I don't know what is normal for veterancy. Two veterancy at 50 kills, so... killing low-value targets, it would seem. But we do have a push coming out from Nylant Sub, and it's being quite effective, causing quite a bit of damage over here on this eastern flank. It does possibly look like he's going to be getting a push into the main base very soon, as units come out of the factories just to die immediately by the sword that is Nylant Sub's army. The Calm of Disaster coming out, it does have a gun upgrade. It is going to be causing significant damage, but of course these are T2 units. This isn't the T1 phase where you can just kind of mosey your way on in. I think the Calm of Disaster dies? Banana Well dies here? Does Banana Well die? Did he actively decide not to kill him because of the pleas of Herzer? I fail to believe that. I fail to believe that. That might be the case, and if that is the case, that's hilarious. But that by all means should have been a kill. But either way, oh wow, there's even T3 here. There's a Titan. I didn't even notice he got T3 land. He did rush to T3 land, and that Titan is going to cause significant issues. The T2 power going down. This is almost worse than just killing him off. I mean, now you're gonna make him suffer economically. You're not gonna kill him, but you are gonna make sure he is poor. And that is very unfortunate as the T2 HQ goes down. And we see these units just wreak havoc over the base of Banana Whale. He's not going to be able to do anything about this. He doesn't have the units. His comm is hurt, badly wounded, badly bruised. I guess maybe it is a conscious decision, but not because Herzer asked. Maybe he's just thinking, well, if I kill him and then Herzer holds on, Herzer grabs all of this. So he's just trying to play that mind game of, hey, don't do this. Also, one thing I would like to mention, because I'm 99% sure this is true for all of these games, but on the Team Matchmaker, full share is the condition. I don't know if that's controversial or not, but if he dies, all of this does go to Herzer. So that is also maybe a good reason not to kill off a lower rated opponent if you see one on these ladder matches. Of course, killing off an opponent is generally a good idea. It's 99% of the time you will win off of killing off your opponents. Like killing off Disaster there, he probably would still be in a very advantageous position, because even though you killed him off, you still have more units over here. You're going to force Herzer to play the entire map instead of just play half of it. So there is that. A T3 mechs back here possibly going down. There's so many T1 PD back here. But this mechs is so important. It's the only T3 mechs for Herzer, I believe. And it's so much economy, that 27 mass a second. You do not want to be losing that under any circumstances. We do, of course, have PD being thrown up as fast as these little engineers can. And these PD may just be just enough to hold this off. There's 4 PD still up. Oh, this could be deadly. And over here we can see a run-by from Disaster getting in, running right down the middle. He's managed to get into the main base and the air production and these T2 mechs of his opponent. This is going to be a little bit painful for Arma. He is sending the comm back to deal with that. A Titan shows up, and here we go. These auto guns are now outranged by the T2 units. They can't shoot them down. This is the same Titan from earlier, vetted up Titan, getting its health back, and it is going to possibly end in this mass extractor being killed. Luckily, he managed to get another T3 mass extractor while we were talking, and he has that mass income. It's just really painful to lose that last one. We do have a brick out on the way over here to try and save this mass extractor, and it very well may, while we have a giant push going on in the middle with Titans and T2 spam and the occasional Lobo thrown in for good measure. It does feel like Herzer's being spread a little bit thin. He's having to try and hold both flanks by himself and try and protect the middle and try and deal with this incursion from the back. But it does look like he might be able to hold on and make it happen. He has transports sending bricks all over the map. Bricks are the answer for him right now, and he is going for it. A large amount of brick production coming out from all of these hives over here, along with the assistance of these T3 engineers. These bricks are going to be built at a lightning fast speed, and as we check on the economies, we can see that Arma 3 and Disaster are short stacking with 31 mass a second on Disaster and 93 for Arma, whereas Nylent Sub is at 231 and 264 for Herzer. So this is a game of, honestly, it's very asymmetrical, the power points. The power point for Team 1 is up here in the top left, whereas the power point for Team 2 is out down here in the bottom right. And we can see that these Gunthers are still fighting, and these TAC missiles have just caused so much investment into defenses over here for Arma. And these units have just punched through again. He yet again has units in the main base of Disaster, and his opponent, a Fire Beetle coming out. Ew, detonate it, detonate it. Detonate it. Oh, you had the chance. All these Fire Beetles here just need to get in there and detonate. They've been running past all of the units. I do believe they do friendly fire damage, so you have to be careful with that. They do have personal cloaking, I believe. So you do need radar to see them. And over here we have a Demolisher T3 mobile artillery that's going to be killed off by T1 tanks. That's not something I get to say very often, so I'm very happy I get to say it. Is it not going to be killed off by T1 tanks? It's going to be killed off by T1 mobile artillery. You got to be shit. If this thing lives, I will be upset. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it now. Kill it now. Come on, man. Just, yes, good tanks. Keep shooting it, keep shooting it, keep shooting it. Yes, T1 tanks have killed a T3 mobile artillery. Yay! And while that's happening, we can see the absolute major assault as I fuck with the camera options because it didn't accept my hotkey input. You can see Percivals and bricks and so many units just firing all of the time. Just a constant, ever-present, destructive war going on. The carnage. It's beautiful. I love it so. I just love to see all of these explosions, all of these wrecks, all of this devastation being dealt out in droves. Alright. And as we zoom out and take stock of the situation, we can see, as far as reclaim, we have 29,000 for Herzer and 22,000 for Nylent Sub, 4.7k for Disaster, and 11k for Arma. And we have... Did he just crest 500 mass a second for a second there? Oh, that must have been reclaim related. It does look like overall Team 2 is still in the lead with mass accrued, but... they're just throwing everything at the wall, throwing everything, just trying to destroy off Team 1. But Team 1 is holding, and I do think they finally have an advantage in a sense. I think there's more bricks on the field than there are Percivals. And bricks being dropped up here on the right-hand side cliff, and they're going to kill off all of these mass extractors. That's painful. They were T2 mass extractors with adjacency. And Disaster has been defeated by Nylent Sub. Disaster was taken out while I was talking about that. I believe that was a Percival shot that killed off the comm of Nylent Sub, and as we can see, it is full share. All of this has been transferred over to Herzer. It's not super useful now as there's been so much destruction going on around the clock of the base of Banana Whale, but that's a little victory over here with this. But I was checking on brick numbers, right? There are 13 bricks versus 5 bricks, and how many Percivals? 14 Percivals. And I already forgot the number over here for the number of bricks. 12 bricks. So never mind, he doesn't have an advantage in the T3 in that sense either. But over here with my eye, I spy a Monkey Lord. So there's going to be a Monkey Lord very soon. And there is Tier 3 Air, Tech 3 Air out on the field for both teams. Not coming into super high levels of usefulness yet, but that could be dangerous as we have yet another push. A very familiar sight for this game. We have a bunch of units from Nylent Sub down here shooting up all of the units from and the base and just destroying things here in the middle. We have such a huge reclaim field forming in this general area where there's just a constant war going on. And we can see that that fire base with the Gunthers was eventually taken out by these Trebuchet mobile artillery. A lot of Trebuchet, in fact. And these units are getting into the production again. So many T1 factories. How many T1 factories is that? All of them producing Medusa. And then we, of course, probably have Zooies coming out of these. Nope. Most of them building engineers. Interesting. But a bunch of T1 factories making Medusa. They are super useful because if they land a shot against pretty much everything that isn't T3, it causes a little bit of a stun effect. And we can see an attempted snipe, a bunch of broadsword heavy gunships coming in to try and kill off the comm of Herzer, who is running away from the land army as well. And as we can see, these units are just plowing damage into Herzer. What is his HP looking like? He's currently at 5,000 HP and dropping, but the last broadsword has gone down and he's managed to survive, but his base is in absolute shambles. The Monkey Lord has completed. Where is the Monkey Lord? Did he reclaim the Monkey Lord? Where's the Monkey Lord? Oh, here's the Monkey Lord. It's coming in. It's going to be killing off all of these T3 units. It's going to be probably getting a rank in veterancy off this alone. Each time it kills a Percival, it gets 1,000 points towards its 10,000 required for a rank in veterancy. And it's already going to be close to its first rank of vet, which is very, very dangerous indeed for Team 2. They should probably start working on experimentals of their own. They have a Fat Boy almost completed, and I'm not seeing any experimentals out from Arma, but then again, Arma does not quite have the same economy as his peers in this match. And we do have bricks sitting up here on their sniper's perch, just shooting it down upon their enemies. It's beautiful. T3 bombers out, killing off T3 units. Just trying to get any kind of reprieve he can, trying to just get some breathing room, trying to be able to just rebuild for a little bit. And if they give it to him, then that is a massive mistake, because right now he has the build power. He just really needs to get the economy back online, even though he's at he's so much reclaim coming in every second. 47,000 reclaim already, 48,000 reclaim, just getting reclaim in mass. I think that's the only way he's keeping up with this now. You can see so many T1 engineers. We have to check this. T1 engineers of both factions. He has over 100 T1 engineers right now just out here reclaiming at various points in the map. And let's see, where is that Monkey Lord yet again? It's over here in the middle. There are enough Percivals here, I believe, to kill it. But does he want to invest what it takes to get that scalp? And this Fat Boy is very close to completing 96% and climbing 97% now. So that fat boy is going to be on the field before they know it. And it does look like Herzer is trying to put up a very epic defense. He's trying to hold for everything he has. Building so many units all at once. Just trying to stay on par with his opponents. And we do have Zooies now being built. And you know, he who hath the Zooie hath the game. Zooies win so many games, it's ridiculous. And we do have this Monkey Lord coming in. It's going to be targeting down Percival's. It might get another rank in veterancy if it's lucky. It does turn to avoid all of the T1 mobile artillery fire and doesn't get its rank in veterancy. It does not manage to get the rank in veterancy, but this is right here. This is going to get reclaimed and thrown right into this crab. This Megalith is going to cause so much damage, and a Megalith on the way. They were talking about it in the chat for Arma as well. But this Megalith is going to be finishing very quickly, very soon. You can see it start getting its color. I need a hero to save me now. I'm holding up for a hero. I thought it was holding out for a hero. I need a hero to save me now. I need a hero, save me now. I don't know why, but that spoke to me on a personal level. Well, Herzer, you may need a hero, but unfortunately I have to tell you, you are the hero. As you start a bug, you know what? That bug may be your hero, and this Megalith also might be your hero. Speaking of which, I need to get a Megalith in camera because it's like my new motif. I have to have a Megalith in every thumbnail. Man, this game is so fucking epic. Like, Guile was right whenever he named games that go past an hour epics. Because I have to say, this game, it just... everything about it is big. It just feels big and weighty and epic. It's what this game is. It's what this game is all about, is being epic. It doesn't try and do anything else. That's all it's trying to be, is epic. It wants to look cool and be big. And you know what? I respect it. I respect it. This game is so good. Master fucking piece. It's a masterpiece. And although I may not be good at this game, and I may not be even able to give good commentary or tell you what's exactly going on, I will tell you this. It's damn pretty. It's damn pretty! Also, on a side note, since anybody watching this still is awesome, the new microphone is working out well. I'm having to do a lot of adjustments, trying to figure out where I should set the gain on it, trying to figure out exactly what settings I should use, but I think it's definitely higher quality audio than I had before. And this Megalith is just getting absolutely chewed up by those cannons out of the Fat Boy. And it's decided, yeah, no, that's not the life for me. It's decided to move back towards this spam here in the middle. Wow, that is going up exceptionally quick. Also, I forgot to switch it back to economy, but honestly, does economy even matter? He's living off reclaim. Look, at any given second, his reclaim bar may be higher than his freaking economy bar. That is ridiculous. Either way, this Soul Ripper is being built exceptionally quickly. Now, do we have enough ASF to deal with it? We have 31 ASF, which is... I don't think it's enough to deal with it if it has its own ASF covering it. Kill pigeons and it's over. Don't worry about the air. I have it covered. Yep, these pigeons are kind of keeping this alive, but getting to them would be one hell of a task, especially with this Fat Boy, or with this Soul Ripper coming online. It'll be able to kill anything in the general area. And we do have the ASF coming in to try and kill off this Soul Ripper, but it's... what? What are all the ASF doing? The ASF aren't going for the Soul Ripper, but they're going for each other? The Soul Ripper can kill off a fair few ASF on its own. So, I don't know what the right call here is, but I do know that this is going to be a dead fat boy in a couple of seconds. Where'd the megalith go? Oh, the megalith was in the middle. It's been just killing things. Almost at its next rank of veterancy as well, as we see this fat boy be wailed upon by many guns from this very big gun ship. It's gonna die, but it's gonna die very slowly. There are more ASF coming in to try and protect it. And it is killing off ASF itself, of course. And that is a dead fat boy, and that's going to give it 25 health a second regen. That is not a massive amount of regen, but it's enough regen for this thing to just keep on shooting things and get more veterancy, I would think. That is a dead fat boy. How is the crab down here? A crab is almost finishing for Team 2, and for the first time in a very long time, with these experimentals coming out in mass and seeing all of these units coming out from Herzer, it does feel like he has a slight advantage over his opponents. Maybe not an economic advantage overall. Actually, he does have an economic advantage. After being behind all game, he's managed to reclaim his way to having more mass accrued this game than his opponent, sitting at 137,000 mass. I hate to say it, but earlier when I was talking about throwing shit at your enemy and maybe not killing them, losing because you throw them too much stuff, I think that might be happening because so much reclaim has gone into his coffers that he's out-ecoing his opponents with reclaim. It's ridiculous. And this middle area is just no-go zone. Nobody can go in the middle. This area is strictly off limits. Nobody has any mexes here. This is just an area of, hey, don't. One does not simply walk into the middle of Badlands. And there is a megalith over here, but, I mean, what's he gonna do? He's against a Soul Ripper and another megalith. In Experimental Wars, this is a 2v1. We also now have SACUs on the field? Do we? Yeah, he has the Quantum Gateway. Doesn't mean he's built any. Jesus, that's a lot of units. SACUs, where are you? SACUs, where are you? SACUs, where would you be? Where would you be? Every time he builds a new unit, it changes this entire fucking thing. Okay, well, it's idle, and I don't see any, so I don't think he's built any. The Calm of Herzer is running away. Alright, and we do have the Soul Ripper coming in to start plowing damage into his opponent. Of course, this power field is extremely important to Herzer, but he does have the Soul Ripper. He does have all of these units, but Herzer now taking damage. He's no longer running away, which is very dangerous. He's going to be taking damage at an exceptional rate. He's dodging megalith shots, but that's the end of it. Herzer, after almost coming with the comeback, after he was finally pushing out, finally getting off of his side of the map, gets killed by a megalith, a lone megalith. Oh my word. Ninelet Sub saying it best. I was pretty sure we lost. I thought you all lost too. I thought this megalith was about to walk in and kill you all, along with all the bricks. But Herzer slipping up one time, not noticing the megalith coming in, not getting his comm straight out of trouble as soon as he noticed it. And there were so many bricks here. He could have killed it. It was so close to dying. Oh my word. Either way, that ends the first cast of the day. There are 2 more to come, and if they're as epic as this, then I'm gonna have a sore throat very soon. Either way, I will see you in the next match, which I don't know what map it's going to be on, but see you there! And here we are into Game 2 on Neuroxis, which is map generator apparently. So yeah, this is a map gen map, which I didn't know that was even in the team matchmaker, but it is, I think. Either way, let's get into introducing our players. It does say that Team 1 is over here on the left, so we will listen to that. We have an 1800 rated blue Cybran by the name of Squall. Or Esquall? I don't know, Swokol? I don't know, but he is going first land, and up here to his north, he has a orange Seraphim ally by the name of Funk Off. Yeah. And then over here to the right-hand side where we're introducing Team 2, we have Icy Nightmare, a person who seems to be in all of my casts now. But nonetheless, Icy Nightmare over here, he is a red UEF going first land. To his south, we have a green Cybran by the name of Shika. That's probably a reference to something. It sounds like the name of Badass Zelda from, or it looks like the name of Badass Zelda from Legend of Zelda. Either way, those are our players, and it is this map, which looks, I don't know if Neuroxis map generator, I don't know what to call it. Either way, there is some reclaim, not a whole ton of reclaim to be honest, but there is some reclaim spread out mainly along the cliff faces, so that's where the players are going to get their reclaim from. Early on, we have double Mech Marine out from Icy Nightmare, going to try and harass both enemies by himself. Now, is this passable terrain? Yes, this is passable terrain, so there is no thing here. These would be impassable. I think they colored the impassable terrain with darker colors, which is very nice of them. And that's going to be very useful. So the players can reach each other's base. They can support each other very easily. They don't have to, like, come find a weird route. They can just run straight over. And as I said earlier, we're going to go back into scenario just to show it off. It is, of course, where is it? I can't find it. I can't find it. Unit kept spawn. Where the fuck is full share? Shared until death. Wait, maybe this isn't part of the map gen. I don't know. This might be an earlier version of the matchmaker, the team matchmaker. Or maybe this is just a map gen match. Either way, it's a 2v2, so I'm just going to throw it in here and say good luck. Also, now that I look at it, the ratings aren't like the specific ratings. So, yeah, no, I think that this is totally not a team matchmaker. Well, it's part of the Megacast because I've already launched it up and introduced the players, so fuck it. Fuck it. We do have a tank out over here, and those Mech Marines, one is up here, the other one is dead somewhere. Oh, hey, look at that. That's a nice little chunk of reclaim right there. Is that mirrored? Is it mirrored? No, doesn't look like it's mirrored. I don't know what that is then. Unless there's another Mech Marine, like... Where'd the other Mech Marine go? I'm 90% sure now that it's dead. But the tank earlier that we saw has been killed off by Icy Nightmare's Come. And we can see these players start to just move out onto the map. Sneaky. I was not expecting snow. Same. It's so bright. Yeah, the color of the previous one of the snow is off. Alright. We do have a Mantis that's about to be slaughtered. Or maybe not. It's going to manage to get away just barely. And as we go ahead and settle in to a point where ecos matter, we can check that it does look like there's 21 mass a second for Wool, and 25 for Icy Nightmare, 15 for Funkov, and 13 for Shikaya. And then as far as reclaim goes, Shikaya is the only one to get past 1k, and Funkov is short stacking at 200 mass reclaimed. We are seeing some units over here killing off a mass extractor, that Mantis that was almost scalped by its green brethren. Is gonna manage to get a mechs off of Icy Nightmare. Oh, maybe it won't. Maybe it won't. Oh no, the mechs lives! Riveting gameplay! Did they kill off an engineer? I think so. I think that's an engineer. So at least it killed an engineer. We do have more tanks over here out from Funkov, who is harassing and causing trouble. He might get a mechs. There was 5 tanks to 4 tanks, so maybe Funkoff wins this? Nope. Nope, more tanks came in from the top. Wow, this map is extremely bright. I do kind of agree. Like, whenever you zoom in, it's even hard to see the units. Ah, that's a little bit... Yeah, that's a little bit weird. Alright. If this is just a map generator map, then, figure out why it's so bright. Make it less bright. I know it's snow and all, and it's supposed to be white, but still. We do have a comm coming out here for Funkoff. It's gonna kill off a single tank and then run away. And down here on the southern flank, we do have the comm of Shakaya is pushing out with his Mantis. There's a T1 bomber over here. It's about to kill off an engineer from the looks of it. Or not. Bomber out from Squall. And, Ball? School? I don't know. I don't know how to say his name. Dave versus Shakaya. Pay-per-view. Fight. Happening right now. The comm of Dave is coming out here, or Squall. I'm gonna stick with Squall. I didn't introduce him as Dave. Squall is coming out here with his comm, and it does look like there's gonna be a little bit of a... What do you call it? Equalization of power over here, as there's comm for both sides. Where is the comm of Icy Nightmare? It's up here near the comm of Funkoff, just finishing off a T1 PD that's just been bombed by a T1 bomber. We are seeing T1 bombers out of both Team 1 players, whereas Team 2 is opting more for the anti-air and getting out their own bomber now. At least one of them is. Some interceptors out to screen for these bombers, and the comm of Icy Nightmare being pushed off towards this little patch of... Is that water? Is there water here? If that is water, then that is some of the most subtle water ever. It almost just looks like it's painted on here. Like it's just painted a different color. But it does look like he might be able to push his way into the water, which I believe is there. Okay, yeah, that is water. Does that look like water to you all? Because I'm not seeing water here. I can see water when he walks, like the little water decals. Water sprites. The bubbles. And we can see the comm of Shakaya now pushing on to the comm of Squall. He's probably going to have to cancel that upgrade if I had to guess. Yeah, this is a dicey situation for the comm of Squall, I would think. Although maybe he's not too worried about it. He does have reinforcements on the way, but of course so does Shakaya, so Shakaya could try and just push on this. That upgrade is at 70%. We can see Nano Repair on the way for Icy Nightmare as well. Just constant units everywhere, all around the map. You can just see constant small engagements. We can see run-bys attempted by Icy Nightmare over here. He's getting a lot of Team 1 units into areas that Team 1 does not want them to be. He's managing to kill off some mass extractors, whereas he's losing his own mass extractors to the comm of Funkoff, who's walking into range of a T1 PD, but he does manage to kill it in time. And Squall is about to finish his gun and range upgrade, which is going to mean he's going to be doing a lot of damage to the spam out from Shakaya. I could have sworn this was a 2v2 team matchmaker thing. Like, swear on my brain and my heart that this was a team matchmaker, but maybe the message did just say mapgen game. That could be it. I could check, but then again we'd lose game sound if I went to go check, so yeah, I'm not feeling it. We do have units out here from Shakaya killing off some mass extractors, and overall you're just constantly seeing units back and forth and back and forth. A huge run by over here killing off a transport with tanks. There's not a... Oh, wait, no, there's an archer here. Maybe the archer killed off the transport. Either way, in the back of the base of Funkoff, there is a bunch of Team 1 units. And that's very annoying, just units overrunning the entire map. Icy Nightmare just everywhere at once, it seems. He's just got units everywhere. It's ridiculous. I love it. Over here in the middle, we can see that comm, that gun comm coming out, along with a bunch of spam out from Funkoff. and spam out from Squall. This is a very dangerous situation. He does not have a lot of spam of his own here, and that's a gun comm. His health is going to start falling off very quickly. Shakaya is currently losing a lot of health very quickly, down to 5,000, down to 4,500, 4,000 health, 3,500, 3,000 health. Oh my word, 2,500, 2,000, 1,500. Is he going to be able to pull out of this? Is he going to be able to survive? I don't know. 3, 2, 1, dead. Oh, that's the death of Shakaya, turning this 2v2 into a 2v1. So now we only have the likes of Icy Nightmare versus both Squall and Funk Off. And yep, as we can see, full share is turned off in this mode, so I'm 99% sure now that it is not a team matchmaker. I've been sure for a little bit, but still. This map gen match has been... Well, I guess it makes sense too. The map generator is also a relatively new feature to Forged Alliance Forever. We have a custom map generator. It randomly generates maps. This is one of them. Of course, this is kind of a weird example because it's so bright, but most of the maps look a lot better than this, and they're really well balanced. As you can see, they're mirrored down the middle here. So it is a very nice feature on Forged Alliance Forever that I haven't seen used in almost any other RTS that I've played. Maybe in like Age of Empires or Rise of Nations, I've seen it. I don't know. Does Age of Empires have randomly generated maps, or is that just me? We do see stealth on the way for Squall. His comm is, of course, down to 500 health, but I mean, this spam is not going to kill off that comm. That comm's just going to eat that up, get a rank of veterancy, and get more health for it. So despite all of these run-bys and such, Icy Nightmare off to a huge disadvantage at the moment. He has gun and nano repair on his comm, so maybe we can see if he can manage to make something work up on this northern front. Grab himself an advantage up there and just absolutely scalp off Funk Off. But right now it does look like he's going to need a snipe or to just destroy the main base of one of his opponents. Otherwise, he's in a very tough spot. He is trying to reclaim the base of his ally, Shakaya, who's recently deceased. He's reclaiming that base and trying to get up more units built over there. He does have 2 paused engineers, which is unfortunate. I don't think he knew they were paused whenever he sent them out here to build again, but maybe he did. Maybe since they were paused, they wouldn't build anything or use mass. He just wanted 1 engineer's worth of mass rebuilding over there. But we do have units out from Squall to just try and stop this expansion from happening. And as we can see, a huge group of T1 units out here in the middle just trying to make another push, trying to take advantage of the spread out nature of this map. The entire map is just one big front, and it's very easy to traverse, so there's not many great choke points, so you can just kind of push your way through. Icy Nightmare trying to get his comm in on the action, trying to get something done with it, but units just constantly running away from him. He has a nice clip of air units. He has a definite air advantage as of the moment. Maybe he can use that to gain some kind of economical advantage by killing off the enemy's power grid. And we can see units over here in the middle fighting. And of course, that band of T1 units that was trying to push through the middle is finally being intercepted by the T1 spam out from Squall. And it's all going to be going downhill very quickly for him. These units are all forfeit. They are all going to die. We have the comm of Funk Off in a very awkward situation where he's in between the 2 armies of Icy Nightmare, but he's relatively safe, I would believe. A bunch of units around the comm of Icy Nightmare. Of course, with that gun upgrade, he's going to be able to kill off quite a few of these. Maybe get some ranks of veterancy as he goes. He has 1 rank of veterancy already. Working on the second. He may be able to get that second one right here and right now with all of these T1 tanks that he's going to be killing. And he's quickly working his way up. 29 kills on that comm. Both the comm of Funk Off and Squall are coming out over here towards the comm of Icy Nightmare, who is currently fallen down below 10,000 health, or just above 10,000 health actually, and is going to be taking a nice little bit of damage. Cinder, maybe. And the second rank of veterancy is so close, he just needs to kill off 1 or maybe 2 more units. And if he gets those 2 units killed, then he is going to be able to get another rank in veterancy. A 2 vet calm is nothing to mess around with. We do have speed and range on the way for Funk Off. Icy Nightmare holding off relatively well. He's going to come out here with this calm and use an overcharge to kill off a mass extractor. Looks like he's going for the second mass extractor as well. Another overcharge. Honestly, kind of looking like he's using automatic overcharge, which is a very nice way to just make sure you're always overcharging. Yep, another overcharge out right there. And he's focusing on the calm of Funk Off, which is getting that upgrade. 2 gun comms would definitely beat him right now. Maybe he's trying to just go for the scalp since he saw it was upgrading. He's bringing all of his units to bear, trying to make sure that everything he has is thrown at this comm. But with that gun upgrade done, there's 2 gun comms here, and that's a lot of T1 spam that they can chew through in a very short amount of time. This is very dangerous. Of course, regen aura being canceled, and Funk Off is losing health rapidly, currently sitting at 5,000 health and falling due to this T1 spam. The Calm of Icy Nightmare is trying to push on this as well. But these 2 gun comms are just absolutely just devouring all of these T1 units out from Icy Nightmare. And this is a very dangerous situation. They can definitely get a win now if they just play aggressive. They just need both of their comms to push towards Icy Nightmare and to have their own spam show up, and they win this, I would believe. It does look like Icy Nightmare is going to fall back, get off of his warpath for a little bit. He is falling back and just scalping off units as far away as he can. Grabbing a kill here, grabbing a kill there. Possibly trying to get up to 3 vet. Which if he can, it would be very nice for him. We do have these 2 comms fighting. I don't know which one would win without any assistance from T1 units right now. If they were to just duke it out, it does look like the Calm of Icy Nightmare has a definite advantage with the hit point pool. And they have the same amount of DPS, I would believe, since they're both 2 vets, so that would put Squall in a very difficult situation. But now all of this T1 spam coming out from Funk Off, going to be throwing a little bit of a spanner into the plans of Icy Nightmare. He's trying to use his 1 calm with that nano regen upgrade, the 62 health a second, to out-muscle his opponent's comms where they don't have quite as much health regen. He is throwing all of his shots into Funk Off, and Icy Nightmare is dropping very quickly in health, and if he goes below 2,000, then killing off Funk Off kills him. And I do think that that's the end of the game. I don't think there's any way for Icy Nightmare to get out, so that's going to be the death of Icy Nightmare and the death of Funk Off simultaneously, and there they go. In a blaze of glory, these 2 players are ejected, and that's the end of the game. A victory for Team 1 and a loss for Team 2. Icy Nightmare unable to win any game that he shows up in. Either way, thank you all for joining me. I am going to be going over to the 3rd game now once I can find it. And I don't know why I said thank you for joining me, because this is not the end of the video. Stay tuned! There's more faff to come. If you didn't notice that from the little bar at the bottom of your screen, there is more. I was just thinking, end of cast, let's do the end of cast rant. No. Either way, we're going to go on to the 3rd game, which I do know what map it's on. It is on Badlands. So we have another 2v2 team matchmaker. This one I know is a team matchmaker one, and it is on Badlands. So, see you there!
And we're back into Badlands. And of course, it's a 2v2. This one is actually using the team matchmaker. I did double check. The last match was a mapgen match, but fuck it, it's staying. Either way, let's go ahead and get into introducing our teams with Team 1 at the top and Team 2 at the bottom. On Team 1, we have Rowie, a blue Cybran who is 1100 rated, going first land. To his east, we have Dave, I'm not even gonna try. Listen, his name's gonna be put onto the little title thing on like my little nameplate. But yeah, a bunch of random letters. Named is Dave, and he's also around 1100, closer to 1200 than Rowie is. Versus, and also I forgot to mention, he's a gray Aeon first land. Down here on the bottom side of the map, we have a yellow Seraphim by the name of Shakaya. He was in our last game, and he is actually in a 2v2 team matchmaker game. He is going first land. Jesus, I cannot get through this fast enough. Then we have a red UEF by the name of Chunky, and he is going first land, and he is 1500 rated. Or no, Shakaya is 15, almost 1600 rated, and Chunky is 1300 rated. So 2 lower rated players versus 2 higher rated players. The game quality is quite bad at 78%. A lot of people would not X in a lobby with this kind of balance, but also I know it's in beta, and there's probably not enough people to get perfect balance every time. Either way, it is going to be a challenge for these players up here. We'll have to see if they can overcome the rating difference better than the players in our first game. And yeah, with that, we are going to see how they're getting on. We can see that both players on the eastern side are deciding to expand with their comms, while both players on the western side are saying, nope, the engineers can do it. We don't have any harass coming out, no mech marine, no Selene, no flare, nothing. We don't have anything coming out to say, hey, I'm going to be annoying. We do have flares built and hunters built, but they are all kind of just sitting at the base being defensive. And this cycles through. I need to remember to start clicking right there just so we can see. As far as reclaim goes, though, we can see that all players are reclaiming about the same rate. Rowie's behind everybody, and Dave is ahead of everybody. I'm going to give it a shot. Yinghui. No, Dave. Dave works way better. People who wanted the return of Dave have been very happy in the last few casts, I'm sure, because people are like, no, bring Dave back. Dave was great. Well, now there's a Dave every single cast. There's multiple Daves in this one. We do have a cliff build coming out from Chunky. He's going to try and cliff build himself a little bit of a factory up here, so that way he can claim this, of course, cliff. And there's not a cliff build out over here yet. That's generally how you do it, but some people decide to go for the air transport way, which I think is overall slower than cliff building on this map. Unlike Settons, where the cliff build that you have to do is about 4 miles away, is very slow. Even though I think if you send your very first engineer on Settons to cliff build, you can sometimes get there earlier than the enemy transport, depending on the enemy's build. Alright, so we're seeing a bunch of Mantis, a bunch of T1 spam coming out from everybody, except for Chunky. Chunky does not have quite as many land factories at the moment. He's starting a line of land factories, but he's still sitting on just 1, while everybody else in the game is at like 2 or 3 now. Interesting, but he does have a lot of eco. He's expanded to his mass extractors very quickly. Actually, no! He hasn't expanded to his mass extractors any quicker. I don't understand this build order, then. Like, of course, he did get the cliff build up here, but at the same time, like, this seems just slower as far as getting out your land factories. It makes you kind of vulnerable to just being out-spammed early. But he is probably better at the game than me, so I'm not going to question it. I guess he plans on getting his comm involved after he builds another factory over here. Meanwhile, looking back at the economic side of things, it looks like everybody is relatively even. It's between about 25 and 32 or 37 for mass totals or mass generation totals. We do see a few units getting into scuffs either side of the map. I'm going to focus on this one. It looks more interesting. You can see some Mantis pushing onto some Thom tanks. That Zooey is probably not going to hit anything. Yep, this is who he misses. And then over here, they have already backed off. There is no engagement going on. We can see the difference between this game and the first game in that the players are definitely not going quite as... what's the word? Aggressively forward with their comms. And we have another cliff build, so both of the cliffs are looking like they're going to be going to Team 2. Although, nope, this is not a cliff build. This is just reclaim. Nobody vying for these mexes in the middle, except for, I guess, Dave is grabbing one of the corner ones, but nobody just pushing and trying to grab these early. Gun speed and range on the way for Rowie. Gun range on the way for Dave, so both of them getting gun upgrades. And we've had a relatively quiet opener. There's not really all that many units that have been shot or killed. We do have a early bomber. I mean, I don't know if it can count as an early bomber. We have a T1 bomber, which maybe will get a nice snipe onto these engineers, or possibly is going to go for something else, maybe these. Is that what this is going for? Yep, it's going to go for the T1 spam, and it's going to get 4 tanks and die. Or 4 T1 spam units, which all cost about the same. Except for the scout. If one of those was a scout, he definitely did not get his money worth on the scout. One of them was a scout. One of those wrecks is a scout, I believe. Or maybe it was a flare. If it was a flare, then I guess it was more worth it. We do have scouting out from Rowie. Let's see what they see. They see everything in the bases. I'm not seeing anybody rushing to T2 anytime soon. We do have stealth on the way. He finished a range. Did he get gun speed? He did. So both gun upgrades onto that Aeon comm for Dave. Do we have any kind of upgrades out from the opponents? Opponents is apparently how I'm saying that. The opposing team, and we do not. A cliff build was attempted, but is going to be shut down by Selins, which is interesting. Selins don't have that great of DPS, do they? Maybe they have the best DPS of the labs? I fail to believe that. I fail to believe that they have the best DPS of the labs. They're also a scout. They also have cloaking. That doesn't seem balanced whatsoever. T1 bombers coming out, bombing a few things. Not getting a ton of kills, though. We do have T2 land out from Dave. We do not have T2 land out from Rowie just yet. We have T2 land out from Shakaya. And we do not have T2 land from Chunky just yet. Over here, we have some Mantis pushing in towards the base and the comm of Shakaya, and this is going to be very, very dangerous. I don't know if... So, I've always had this question. So, like, if you're going to be pushing with a gun comm, shouldn't your comm be out in front? Because you want your comm to be tanking some of the damage, and your comm's going to kill off more than anything, any of your T1 units, and you get to protect your T1 units, so that way whenever you come in with them, you have more and they're more protected. Or am I wrong on that? Are you supposed to use the T1 units to tank? I'm not sure. But we do have that gun comm and the units out from Rowie pushing quite heavily into his opponent. And we have some units pushing through the middle, and also the middle has been claimed up by Rowie. Rowie has claimed a lot of that. Let's go ahead and check on reclaim numbers really quick as this push comes in. We can see that it's relatively even. The only player with below 2,000, and who's basically, everybody's at basically 3,000 except for Chunky currently. And we can see that these units are really encroaching on the territory of Shakaya, but he does have Ilshivas up, so we have to keep that in mind. We're seeing now some Obsidians come out for Dave, but Ilshivas do still die to gun comm. So this is relatively dangerous. They are going to reveal themselves. We can see the Ilshivas now, and now we can see a massive amount of units flowing towards Shikaya. And then we have a very dispersed power grid being built kind of on the front lines currently by Shikaya. I don't know why he's building all of his power right here. He does have power back at the base, but that's a lot of power he's building. It seems kind of wasteful. Yeah, he's plus 500 power, and he's still building these P-gens with two engineers. That seems a little bit inefficient to me. Could balance that a little bit better. Either way, these Ilshivas are dying to a gun comm and overcharge, because, you know, overcharge is beautiful. And we have many units pushing with the comm of Rowie. Rowie's units are being whittled down by the T1 spam over there and the gun comm of Shikaya. And let's see. Nothing really happening on the eastern flank. It does look like, since he sent a bunch of spam down the middle to try and help out his ally, Dave is currently quite far behind in the spam game. He does have some T2 units. He does have the gun comm, but there are a lot of factories over here, and it looks like he only built 4 factories, but he's rushing to Tech 2. There's a lot of T1 spam here compared to his opponent. And we can see that Rowie and Shikaya are going at it again. There's yet more spam always showing up for Rowie. He always has so many units on the field at any given time. And he's just pushing into his opponent. They're going to start killing off power generators that are superfluous and do not matter. Maybe these power generators were a 4D chess play, because now they're a threat to his own units as he attacks. It's not a ton of damage, but it is a little bit of damage that would be going on to the units as they explode. Shikaya is losing health kind of rapidly, actually. 9,200 health and falling. These Mantis are going to be dying to Ilshivas, but there's always more. There's just this ever-present wall of T1 spam coming out of the base of Rowie. He has so many T1 land factories. How many, in fact? He has... Oh, well, he has like 11, but only apparently 4 of them are producing now. I think he paused a whole bunch of them. And we can see the comm of Shikaya is quite low on HP. Of course, you have to remember that in this scenario, we can see that it is indeed full share. Where is it? Full share. It's full share. So you have to keep that in mind. Shikaya is now finally putting some damage onto the comm of Rowie, but this flank is collapsing. And over here, we can also see a little bit of a collapse on this flank. I don't know quite how. There's so much more T2 production over here, and this is just some T2 tanks. I don't know, that gun comm must be putting in work, but he's keeping him from helping his allies. So Shikaya is all alone on this flank, unable to get any assistance from his ally, who's having to hold off a push of his own. It does look like Dave is going into a little bit of trouble, though, as his T2 spam evaporates before his eyes. But let's go ahead and look back down here at Shikaya, who is very close to dying. 700, 500, 400, 300, 200, 100, and that's a dead Shikaya. So the lowest rated player in the entire match taking out the highest rated player in the entire match. So maybe balance is working properly. Now, all of this is going to be transferred over to Chunky, but Chunky's going to have to come up with some kind of way to defend this area. There, of course, is some T1 PD built over here. That's going to be a stumbling block, but it's not going to be a stumbling block for long, and there's always the threat of units creeping in behind here. We can see Rowie has finally made it up to T2 tech, and he is spamming out Rhinos. Rhinos are such good tanks. Possibly the occasional Wagner. I did get confirmation on why pro players build Wagners with their Rhinos. So Wagners are faster than Rhinos, so they, like, movement speed-wise, they're faster. And they have a higher alpha strike, which is very useful in fights. So the Wagner is just all around a good unit. Also, I'm sure it's not Wagner, I'm sure it's a Wagner, but I don't care.
Or Wagner. Oh, the Wagner. And this is going to be the death of T2 tech for Seraphim. He's not going to have those Ilshivas to come protect him. I don't think he has a Seraphim engineer. Well, yeah, he does, but it's up here, so that's going to be a difficult ask to get that. And this base is just slowly disintegrating in front of the eyes of Chunky, who is still dealing with a T2 threat. I don't know how he's losing this. All of his units must have been redirected over here, but he just doesn't have the units to deal with both the spam out of Dave and the spam out of Rowie. Rowie currently sitting at a 5 vet comm, having killed 12.9 thousand mass worth of units. And rising with only 46 kills. He's killed a lot of Ilshivas and he killed the comm, of course. Whereas his ally is currently working on Vet 3 and is very close to it. And Chunky has just been kind of relegated to hiding in his base. He is getting Tech 3 land on the way, so we have to see how Chunky wants to approach this. There's just an ever-present battle going on over here on this flank. That comm is so deadly, just doling out damage like a madman. Stealth and speed and gun upgrades very quick, paying off for Team 1. Along with Dave, who is doing very well. He has just been constantly at every turn able to push and pressure on his opponent, Chunky. Chunky is throwing up a valiant defense. He does have himself some T2 PD back here to fall back to. He does not have the gun upgrade on his own comm, so he is a little bit outgunned in this situation, literally. But he does have the PD here to try and help him. He is falling a little bit low on health, but he also has his own T2 spam on the way in. If he can get underneath one of these parashields, he could definitely survive this. And it does look like he's finally driven off the comm of Dave. And he is going to have a parashield get over his comm very soon. He's going to be rebuilding those T2 PD and trying to set up a defense over here. But while this is happening, he has to pull his units. He has so few units in comparison to his opponents that he just constantly needs more. He needs more production right now, and he also probably needs more economy. But if he doesn't get more production up, he's in a very tough spot, as he's just constantly being, if it's not being attacked by Dave, he's being attacked by Rowie, and they're sending in units from every angle they can. T2 mechs going down. All of these units, they may be T1, or at least the mass majority of them, but they are still more than capable of killing off your mexes. And that's something you do not want to happen. And then if you pan over to this flank, you can see that there's just a field of dead units everywhere you go. There's death and destruction. Just absolute carnage throughout the map. We can see a lot of Medusa spam just coming in on this western flank, and now he's going to have to send all of his T2 units to respond to that. And while that's happening, these units are grouping up to attack right here. As I said, not enough units, too many enemies. It's a very target-rich environment right now for Chunky, but to his credit, he is still holding on. He is still here. He did not control K. He's still trying. He does have a decent economy built up behind himself currently. Also, we've been sitting on reclaim for like half this game, but yeah, you could guess this. You could guess this very easily. Chunky is behind on economy because he hasn't lost all of this. Like he's lost all of this, and it's also not upgraded, and all of these are getting upgrades. You see more T2BD being thrown up. He's He's just trying to get enough to thwart any attack from this side so he can use his units to defend. But these Medusa getting way more than they bargained for, getting so many kills. Just this absolute spam of Medusa coming out and killing everything in their path. Structures are not safe when they are around. How many Medusa does he have? Just right here. Just right here. 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49 Medusa. He has pretty much 50 Medusa just right here, slowly chewing through the base of Chunky. Oh my word, how is he going? He needs Titans. No, you don't need Ravagers. This is the time for Titans. Oh my god, you don't need Ravagers. I'm sorry, Chunky, but you don't. You need Titans. That's like your best option right now. Ravagers are expensive and they die to spams of units. They are very good at killing big units. They're not good at killing small units. Oh, also the shield upgrade at some point was put onto Dave's comm, so Dave is quite a bit more tanky than he once was. As we see Scorchers dropping their fire bombs onto the comm of Dave. He doesn't need these Ravagers, but he's building them, goddammit, so I guess he's stuck with them. But he's just slowly losing his base to Medusa. I mean, I guess the Ravagers are shooting the Medusa, which is a nice change of pace. The Medusa aren't just having free reign over this half of the map. And Rowie has just decided, hey, do you remember Shakaya? That's me now. I'm taking his base. He's just decided that Shakaya's base is his. And he's just gonna spam. He's reclaimed all of his factories, or some of his factories. He's reclaimed a bunch of factories back here, so that way he can build them on the front. Oh, what a madman. Just throwing everything into early game pressure. It's beautiful. And we do have what looks like bricks being transported in for Rowie. He is not sitting on his laurels. He is going to drop bricks behind here and start killing off T2 mexes. That's very, very painful. As the economy of Chunky is just faltering, sitting at 61 mass a second. Of course, there is a ton of reclaim to be grabbing, but Chunky being a little bit of being salty in the chat. It does seem like he has given up to a degree. And these bricks have been dropped off, and they are going to start killing off T2 mexes, which is not what you want to see. I'd like to see him start reclaiming his base and getting more mexes up. There we go. There we go. Keep building us mexes. We need more of those. And we do have the comm of Dave getting shot at by Ravagers, but not really caring. With that shield upgrade and 4 ranks of veterancy, he is a very tanky man. Or she. She is a very tanky lady. I don't know. That name doesn't give me any kind of indication of male, female, whatever. Pretty sure Rowie's a dude, though. Also, Chunky seems like a dude name. But who knows? Maybe it's a chunky gal. I don't know. I've been told in so many casts now that, like, hey, this player was a chick. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. We have a ton of Mantis just doing Mantis things, overrunning a bunch of Zooies and about to reach the production line that was placed back here. Well, he did still have some of these. Could have gotten some Ilshivas out. That would have been very useful. I mean, anything would have been useful. He just needed more units. Yawning. So the other casts were done yesterday night. This is being done in the morning. So all of this is going to be edited, but that's the reason I'm yawning, is because it's the morning. I just woke up. All of these factories now being paused as he's decided that they are useless, which is a relatively okay. What's going on up here? We have a Monkey Lord on the way, everybody. It's a Monkey Lord. You know when you go to one of those baby ceremonies where they're like, it's a boy or it's a girl? Well, I'm gonna have one and I'm gonna just say it's a monkey lord. Or it's a galactic colossus. Baby showers, that's what it's called. Or baby reveal party. Oh no! Not the T3 mass extractor that's not gonna care about being bombed by T1 bombers. Wow, that's a czar. That is a donut to end all donuts. And this mass extractor is gonna live. Fancy that, huh? Who would have guessed the mass extractor would live? We do have a flak on the way to stop that from happening again in the future. But we have more bombers on the way to try and kill off this T3 mass extractor. Who will survive? Who will die in this game of mexes? We have a ton of units being... Oh god, Jesus. I don't know what just happened with my sinuses. Okay, we have a ton of units sneaking behind the base. Behind Chunky. They're coming in all sneaky like. Oh, man. That hurt. Jesus. I'm falling apart, everybody. Okay. So, all these units back here. We do have a brick. Of course, there are a line of Ravagers, which are a pretty good deterrent for T3 units. So... maybe the Ravagers were a good choice. Although a bunch of Percivals would be a little bit better right now, but maybe the Ravagers are a good choice. We can see Chunky slowly trying to get himself back up on that economic ladder. He is power stalling like a motherfucker. Trying to get up a T3 power generator. Also, there's a Monkey Lord. Like, right here. It's literally within eye shot of the base. Can I do this? Why can't I track units? Okay, I cannot track the Monkey Lord. But you know what I can do? I can watch its March of Doom in style. Oh yeah. March of Doom. And as we can see, the comm back there upgrading. We have a bunch of Ravagers queued up after noticing the Monkey Lord. The Monkey Lord's about to be shot by Ravagers, right? We can see Ravagers just firing off into the distance. God, this game, as I said, so beautiful. Such a beautiful game. We can see Ravagers now finally firing into the Monkey Lord, but the Monkey Lord's about to be at the comm. The Monkey Lord's about to be at its goal. It just needs to fire its microwave laser into that comm for a few seconds. And 3, 2, 1, boom! And the Monkey Lord dies for his troubles. But that's the end of this game. Thank you all for watching. You all are beautiful. I love each and every one of you who's stayed until this point. And I'm going to leave you with this beautiful sight before you. Alright, goodbye. Have a wonderful day. Like if you liked it, subscribe if you like. Subscribe if you want to see more. Dislike if you disliked it. Check out my Patreon. Join the Discord. All of the things. There's links in the description. Just click all of them and have a good time. Alright, goodbye.